I'm going to try to fix stupid. We'll see how it goes. I've owned this bus for about a year now, not quite, and I love it, and I've never driven it. I have not sat on a seat that was attached to it before, but I love it. I don't know, I just get real attached to sort of the lost puppy of it all. So the plan now is to attack the nose, really replace the sheet metal. So I'll walk you through what I got. It's not going to be terribly complicated. I've seen some videos on some tips on how to remove it. I know I'm going to have some issues around the headlight buckets, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm through picking boogers, so now I've got to finish removing that box of steel rust crap, but I wanted to show you the panel I have. This is from Wolfsburg West, and it is just a perfect fit for what I need. So it is going to go through the part of the headlight bucket. That's going to be a pain. I know it's going to be a bit of a challenge getting that figured out, but we'll see. But it's about a 1/2 inch higher than that scarred section down there. Just fell off the lip at the bottom there. And it's going to be great. It's going to do exactly what I need. I'll have to repaint the whole thing, but it's a perfect panel. Not having to replace around the vents, around up in here. I do have a replacement panel for this. As you can see, there's a bit of rot in there. Piece is missing, but this is first, then that. So what I'm going to do now is put this thing up as close to where I want it to be when I mount it, and then I'm going to do a spray paint line straight across. That's going to give me my cut line. I will obviously not get to the cut line. I will creep up on it, but it'll give me a target of where to start removing chunks and going from there. One tip I was told, so this sheet here bends around here. You can actually feel the lip. It's this piece that just gets bent around, and then you tack it in place along there. So I will be doing that, but to remove it, I can't get underneath that lip successfully without possibly damaging this. So what you do is you come in with a grinder and you basically grind this off. That gives you access with a chisel to get off the chunk that you don't need. And again, I can creep up on it. Start down there, work my way up to there, cut across, and I should be able to remove it. It recommends, the videos I saw recommended that you remove the doors. Check. So that should be a pretty straightforward task. I've also consistently welded with flux core wire. I bought regular MIG wire, no flux, and I'm going to buy a tank of gas. This cart has been made, I made it a while ago out of a wagon. It's got a spot for a canister on the back. I'm going to be able to run gas to try to get better, cleaner initial welds. So I have to grind less, which would add more heat. So I'm going to try to avoid that. I can guarantee this will not be perfect. I'm hoping that the line disappears. I may have to use a little bit of Bondo to make it so, but I'll do my best. Creeping up on it, I have broken this whole piece loose by grinding down the edge as planned. I'm now working my way across here. With the cutter, I can't really get too vertical, so I got to stay horizontal, and I'm trying to take the top lip off only and save the bottom piece, because the top piece is already on the new replacement panel. And I'm going to carry it over to here. I've already started removing some of the pieces that were here. I've cut it around loosely around the headlight bucket with the idea that I will creep up on that. It's now a little bit loose, but remove this panel and then I'll be able to see this a little better, be able to see over there a little better, and just keep working my way. The tricky bit is, remember, I also have to replace the bulk of this piece. That's actually, that piece right there is replacement all the way across. So I'm gonna have to get rid of this and that section there, and that section there. So we will see how it goes. Use the grinder to take as much of this lip off as I can, and now I'm using the hammer chisel, air powered, to go underneath and peel it off. And then I will remove this chunk. I'm committed now. Well, it'll be good to get that out of there. Clean this lip up. I will have to recreate part of this lip along the mouth there. Onward. When you discover a part that you bought isn't really the part that you need. Let me walk you through it. So this piece, I thought, was going to be part of this structure here and would continue across, when in reality it's actually that piece, which is perfectly fine except for the part that's been removed. So just so you can visualize, this chunk right here is this chunk right here. This lip is this lip, so I don't need to replace it. I will grind this. I'm going to cut a chunk off of that, weld it in here to have a full complete piece. I may use parts of this in other ways because I bought it several months ago and it's too late to return it. All right, well, time to clear a little bit of that crap out, cut some of that off, and then gone. So the right side is proving to be a bit more of a challenge. There's a lot more firewall that I'm having to cut off. So there was a whole section here that went down to there, welded up in here, behind here to the front nose area. You can see the weld marks through here and then down here. So just having to get a bit more aggressive. I finally got enough of the lip removed down here so that I can air chisel, grind, and hopefully pull it off. I thought I'd give you an idea on my technique for removing this, just in case any of you are silly enough to use my videos as a how-to. So what I do is I'm using the grinder. I don't know if you can tell. So there was a spot weld there, 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 there. So about every inch, most of the way down, there is a spot weld that's holding this thing out. So you got to kind of grind those out. I grind at an angle, not flat, slight angle without trying to dip into the bumper front area. Once you grind it down low enough like this, where it's kind of melted through, I'm then air chiseling off that outer lip. That's what this is. Okay, so now there's nothing overhanging at all. It's basically the bottom lip, like that chunk down there, and the top lip that's spot welded to it. But by grinding through and getting rid of this, you're essentially getting rid of the front lip of the spot weld. So once you do that, a little ugly right there, I got a little carried away with the air hammer, but you then grind enough into this so that it's super thin, and you can then hopefully have a bit of an edge coming down at a pretty steep angle with the air chisel. Start grinding, you get underneath it, and then you can glide a bit. So I'm hoping that makes sense in some roundabout way. All right, finishing it up. All right, so here you can see the spot weld remnants. There's one, there's one, there's one. So some of them are on the edges, some are a little farther back. There was nothing I could see that sort of showed me where they were. So it was more a matter of just find it and then go to town. So this thing looks hideous now, but it wasn't pretty before. Some junk up in here. I'm gonna have to weld a repair piece in there before I put the actual nose face back on. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. I'll have to clean this edge up here. It's a little bit warped now, but I can do that with a hammer and dolly. Not a big deal. Still have to trim bits around there. This is a pretty accurate line of how high up I need to go, but I am creeping up on it. I would rather leave more than less. Up in here is the vent duct. And the bottom of it is fairly blown out. So I'm gonna have to create a panel that's gonna go flat here and then attach to this back lip and even replace that back lip. Again, I've got extra sheet metal. I might buy a small brake just to make my life a little bit easier. Removed most of what I could around the bucket here. I did blow through in removal. I expected that. I can easily just weld up a small patch behind there. I'm gonna have to do a lot of grinding to make sure that thing is solid anyway. And so there's this, and then about a 1/2 inch gap, and then the air duct. That is fairly solid, so I'm gonna take it and replace, do what I can to rust treat, and go from there. And then still got a bit of the floor to remove. I'm not sure how far back I'm gonna go. I do have a repair panel for the whole thing, but I might use that panel to replace this section and not cut out anything else. We'll see. It's really solid otherwise, so not concerned. And then, as I said, replacing that. All right, well, that is enough for this episode. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys, and if you got any suggestions or whatever, let me have them, because I'm always in process and trying to learn what more I can do. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Take care.